fun video for you guys this week. It wasn't a video that I was planning on necessarily. If you don't know, if you're new here, I do have endometriosis and I've had it for over 4 years and I've been having some problems with that. We're hopefully getting it fixed soon. So I have been like super exhausted. So on top of the actual like chronic pain, the number one symptom of endo is exhaustion. And I have just been sleeping and resting. Things haven't gone to plan. I'm doing things with this spring semester to try to accommodate. It's a whole thing. So that's why this video is a little bit different. If you guys missed last week's video, we did a little vlog of doing just like some fun festive Christmas things and started kind of a Christmas checklist of things that I wanted to do. And spoiler alert, we didn't get to all of them, but in this video I'm going to be accomplishing a few more of them and going into a little bit more detail. And this is specifically going to be more of like a holiday prep video. So like a last minute Christmas prep with me. So I have some gift wrapping ideas. I have a couple different techniques to show you, some very inexpensive ones, a fun little activity, as well as a last minute gift idea, which turned out really cute, by the way. So that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. If you're new, make sure you subscribe down below. I can't believe this is one of the last, actually I think it will be the last Christmas video on my channel, and then we're going to be going into the new year and starting with some fresh content. If you like home decor, decorating, DIY, things like that, make sure you're subscribed and you like the video to let me know that you got some ideas or you just enjoyed watching the video. But yeah, I believe that is everything. We're gonna go ahead and get started with the holiday prep. So first we're gonna start out with these cute little gingerbread kits. Now doing things with gingerbread and gingerbread kits, gingerbread houses is nothing new, nothing we've never heard of, but I just wanted to recommend these as a very fun last minute activity, especially these ones that were just a little sort of miniature ones that were more personalized. You could make them more your own, and they come with a bunch of different icings and decorations. We got these from Meijer, so if you live in Michigan, they are in our local store, and I just thought these were really fun. I know that Target has a bunch as well, so that would be a really good place to look. So first we're getting at all of our pieces. I saw, I think somewhere on like TikTok or some sort of social media, that it is best to actually decorate your pieces and then assemble them. So that's what we're doing here. We're trying to get all of our icings and things in bags, and I really like this kit because it also came with tips and piping bags, which just made icing so much easier. So that's what we did. We started with the sleigh because we thought that was a little bit easier, and we just decorated all of the individual panels, added on our sprinkles and our decorations, and I think this was really fun. We tried to sort of mimic what was going on the box, and we tried to create a lot of texture with the different colors, and we were going for more of a traditional look, so we did a lot of red, green, gold, white, stuff like that. So we just kept it super simple. And here I'm going to be showing you a little bit of an icing trick on this tree. You could also use this on cookies, but you sort of start at the bottom, you apply a little bit of pressure and press down, and then you release, and it just makes this really fun textured look that I think you could do with buttercream on different Christmas cookies and things like that. So there's just a lot of different things that we did here, and I'll show you a few of the individual elements that we put together before putting the final result together. For the sleigh specifically, and just any other cookie that you're decorating, any gingerbread house, I would recommend putting your icing all over it and then sort of spreading it with a knife. I thought that worked really well, especially for this sleigh, because we needed a lot of red, but they didn't give us a lot of red icing, so I think that's a really good way to stretch it and also give it sort of an abstract look. And as you can see, we have all of our individual pieces decorated and ready to go. I was very surprised with how well these came out. But with all the different techniques I showed you, I think it really just turned out super well. So now we're assembling it. We are not people to eat our gingerbread houses. Let me know in the comments below, but we've never even considered eating them. We just really like to decorate them and put them together. But this is how we're going to be assembling it. It's honestly the best way to do it if you obviously don't plan on eating it. It just is very structurally sound. It keeps everything together. It's really just foolproof. And now we're adding on a few details now that everything is dried and our glue is holding everything in place just to give it a little bit of character. And now we're just popping in all of the pieces as we saw on the box. And I thought this turned out super cute, as well as this castle. You're gonna be able to see that we actually did break one of the castle walls. I think it was technically the back, but we just used the hot glue to mend it. And that's another thing that's great about hot glue, is it's just super easy to repair things if you accidentally break them. And these sorts of cookies and things can be super fragile, so it really just comes in handy. I couldn't recommend it more. And now we're just adding on a few extra details, and this is how they turned out. Like I said, I was super surprised with how well these turned out. I just loved the colors. And if you guys didn't notice, we didn't use the blue on the castle. We just wanted to keep it very wintry and Christmassy. But I think these are really fun, and they make a cute little decoration to have out during the holiday season. Some wrapping ideas, some tips and tricks. I'm starting with some craft paper. I got mine off of Amazon, but this is a last minute Christmas prep, and I have been told that these are available at like the Dollar Tree, Dollar General, things like that. So if you're having trouble finding this sort of paper, then that would be a really good place to look. So I'm just wrapping up this box like you traditionally would, sort of folding the pieces on the bottom and then doing the little trick with it on the sides. And the reason I like to choose craft paper is, if you saw our Christmas decorate with me, specifically this second one, you'll see that our tree is pretty busy, and I want it to be the focal point of the living room of that room. So I like to keep the wrapping of the gifts really simple and keep it very classic and sort of sophisticated looking. You guys know I love an aesthetic look, and I feel like this craft paper just adds that. It's also very thick, so it's really easy to work with. Now we're adding on a little bit of twine. I like to use a twine that sort of contrasts with the paper, so I chose this light ivory sort of white color, and I'm wrapping it over the top, going under, and sort of turning them 90 degrees, if that makes sense. And then I wanted to do a little bow on the top, so I tied a knot, and now we're going to add a tag. I have never bought gift tags in my whole entire life. This is just a super easy way to do it. I use note cards. We have a little template there, so all of our tags are the same, and then you can get a couple out of each note card. And this is where calligraphy skills or just writing in cursive comes in handy. I just love the classic look of writing in cursive, and just makes it super simple. And I did it in a thin Sharpie, that way it was just, again, super simple. And now we're just gonna finish it off by tying a little bow, and I love the way this looks. Very organic, very simplified. And one thing I wanted to mention is I like to choose a couple different wrapping papers. This one is a little bit different, has a little bit of color with the gnomes. I found this at our local grocery store, and I decided to use a different colored twine. I think choosing a couple different wrapping papers in this sort of same color scheme is a really good way to sort of make everything look nice. Of course, it is a little extra, but you guys know I love to be extra. And this is just super aesthetically pleasing and simple and just very organic looking. So I love the way this looks. Now, I have seen this wrapping hack, this wrapping trend all over social media. It's this sort of way to wrap a gift that has like little pockets in it so you can stick things in it. You'll sort of see what I'm talking about in a second here. So I'm starting with a box, obviously, and I did make my wrapping paper. I don't think I made it quite long enough on the left and right sides there. You'll see that it kind of doesn't overlap much as it should, but this will make sense in a second. So basically, we're going to start by taking a piece and taping it to the bottom. We're going to sort of push in towards the side of the box and we're going to get a triangle. And this hack is supposed to be a way to wrap a gift without using tape, but I'm not very good at wrapping, so I used a little piece of tape. And basically, we're going to alternate on each side, folding triangles to sort of fit to the box is the best way I can explain it. And then with the leftover paper, we're just going to crease that really well and fold it over the top. And I just love the way this looks. It adds a little bit of dimension, just a little bit of something there so you can stick things in. And it's actually very simple to do. I only had to watch the tutorial a couple different times. And as you can see, there's that gap in between the folds, but we are going to cover that up with our tag. And then to finish it off, I'm just going to fold it just like you normally would any other gift on the side and tuck in all of our loose ends. Now we're going to make our tag. I didn't use my template for this one because of that gap in the middle. You can sort of see the colors at the end of the wrapping paper. So I wanted to make a tag that was a bit bigger to sort of fit in that first pocket. And just to make sure it stays in place, it covers that seam, I'm going to put a little roll of tape on the back. And I also did hole punch this. So now I'm going to write the name on there, the to and from. By the way, we're behind on Tori's wrapping, so you're going to see like all of this stuff is made out to Tori. So I put that on there in the normal sort of cursive style that I did for the other, and then I'm just taking a piece of that darker twine to make a little bow through it. So this is super easy. Like I said, you can stick things in the little flaps. You could do a Christmas card, candy cane, you could put in a little pine branch, really anything like that. You can make it really your own, and I just think this looks so pretty. It's a different way to wrap that I've never seen before, and I understand why it's so popular. And this is how they look all together. I love, of course, the different shapes and sizes. I like the two different contrasting wrapping paper. They're super simple and subtle, and I just think they look so pretty underneath the tree. Let's get into a last minute gift idea. This honestly could work for anyone. I don't know anyone who wouldn't love a new cozy crew neck for the holiday. So I was inspired by this picture that I think Chloe found on Pinterest and sent to me. It says, "God is good," and I just really love the simplicity of it, and I liked the contrast between God and is good. So we're going to be recreating this on my Cricut. I did find a font that would work for God, but I didn't like any of the fonts for the sort of cursive is good portion, so I ended up drawing this out on my laptop to sort of get exactly what I wanted, and I just sort of put it together in Cricut Design Space. If you have a Cricut and you know someone who would love a sweatshirt, this is the perfect idea, and it was so easy to put together. So I just uploaded that image into Design Space. It was super easy. I just saved it as a PNG, and then I sort of proportioned everything together. I wanted to make sure it was about the same as the inspiration picture. And then if you are a Cricut user, I did group them together. That way, if I wanted to alter the size a little bit, the proportions of both the fonts, both of the words would stay consistent. So these are the materials I used. I have some black and white iron-on, as well as this sweatshirt from Hobby Lobby. It was $15.99, but it was about 30% off when we got it. I was really impressed with the material of this. So if you're looking for a inexpensive, nice crew neck, definitely check out Hobby Lobby. And like I said, these two iron-on vinyls. So super easy if you have a Cricut, you only need a few other materials to make this. What we're doing now is cutting down our materials. I believe I ended up making mine roughly 11.5 inches by 4 inches or so, and I'm just cutting those pieces out. The black is for the words is good, and then the white is obviously for God. So we're going to be cutting those out, and then we're going to be putting them into our Cricut and saving all of the leftover vinyl for later. And if you saw me make this cabinet in a not recent video but in a past video, it is holding up beautifully. And now that we have everything in Design Space, I'm going to mirror everything because it is iron on. Putting it on our mat, if you've never worked with iron-on before, it has this in the directions, but you're supposed to put it shiny side down, so that way when you adhere it to whatever fabric you're using, it will stick and it will be the right way when you put it on there. So I'm just going to cut everything out on my Cricut and just make sure that it is on iron-on for the material set. I did do this wrong the first time and had to do it over, but I left that out just so it wasn't redundant. Our pieces properly cut out, we are going to be taking all of the excess material from the outside of our words and weeding all of the different areas. So I'm starting with the black and just peeling that away, making sure we have all of our pieces intact, and I'm just taking out all of the little centers of the G and just the O's and stuff like that. So this is how it is looking if you flip it over. And now I'm also going to cut it down a little bit just to make it a little bit easier to work with. And then we're going to do the same thing to God. This one was a bit easier because of course it is bigger and less letters to weed all of these centers out of, but this is also very satisfying. I love this step. Now we're going to be putting everything onto the crew neck sweatshirt. I actually find this process to be satisfying as well, and it's a lot easier than you may think. First, I'm going to be folding it in half vertically so we can get a rough middle on the front, just so when we're centering everything, it's a little bit easier to see that we are roughly going to be in the center. Now I'm just going to be heating the surface. I did go over the seam a little bit. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but I could still see the seam. Ironing over the seam definitely made this process a lot easier, and now I'm just going to be centering it as best as I can immediately after heating it with the iron, and I roughly put it about 3 to 4 inches down from the neck of the crew neck, in case you're wondering. And now I'm just going to put a piece of parchment paper on there, and we're going to go over it with the iron. I don't believe the instructions say that you have to do this, but it just makes me feel a little bit better. We're going to peel that back once we see that it is properly adhered to the sweatshirt, and we're going to immediately go in with is good right on top while it's still warm. So I found that to be super important, and we're just going to do the same steps. We're going to lightly go over that with our iron until it is properly adhered. You want to try to put pressure on it just where the words are. You don't want to go over God too much, otherwise it can smear, and I've had that happen too many times. And this is another thing I do that's not in the instructions. It just really helps to adhere it to the sweatshirt, is put the parchment paper back over it and give it a few final irons over the top just to make sure everything is properly attached. And this is how it came out. I think it's so cute. Of course, it's personalizable. You can come up with so many different ideas. You can get inspiration from things online. I just love the way this looks, and it's something super practical that I feel like anyone could use, especially during the winter. Alright you guys, that is the end of today's video. I hope you guys liked it, like the new sort of style as opposed to last week's video. I can link last week's video down in the description box below if you want to check it out. But this video was really fun to make. It was just fun bringing you guys along through some of the Christmassy things we were doing and showing you some fun ideas for gift ideas and wrapping and things like that. Just the little things that you have to do right before the holiday comes around. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe for more content coming into the new new year. But yeah, I believe that is everything. I believe this is the last time I'm going to see you before Christmas, so I hope you have a fantastic holiday. You are spending time with your loved ones and remembering the reason for the season, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of 2022, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!